Hey, what's up YouTube? Red and Bordy here, back with another New World video. Today we're going to cover Corrupted Breaches. Everybody remembers Corrupted Breaches from the preview event. It was one of the most popular ways to level, or at least other than exploits that people were using. It was the most popular way to level. But we're going to hop in here. They've completely overhauled the system, and I think it's much better now just because it isn't such like a demand that you actually do them. So let's hop right in here. Bordy. The Corrupted seek to devour Aeternum, and it's up to you as an adventurer to fight them back. Once you get access to the Azoth Staff, you'll be able to have the ability to close Corrupted Breaches. If you do so, you'll be rewarded with gold, experience, and faction tokens, as well as a treasure chest that scales up the level of the Corrupted Breach you close. Have to be careful saying breach, Bordy. In this guide, we'll tackle how to complete each type of Corrupted Breach. You will need the following tier of Azoth Staff to close the corresponding breach. And this is new. Now the Azoth Staff has tiers, and you'll need a certain tier to close a certain Corrupted Breach. So tier 1 can close up to a level 25. That is the base level of a Corrupted Breach. So basically it just says you can close the base level of Corrupted Breaches. Tier 2 is up to 35. So that will grant you access to both 25 and 35. And there's a massive jump between Tier 2 and Tier 3, because Tier 3 Azoth Staffs allow you to close up to level 65. And as of the preview event, there were level 25 breaches, 35 breaches, 45 breaches, I think 55 breaches too, right, Bordy? And then 65 breaches. So obviously Tier 3 is what you're shooting for, which means you just got to push through the main quest line because that will help you level up your Azoth Staff. So here's a note that's kind of important to go through right here. If you're going out there to close the old Corrupted Breaches, Bordy, you want to go over to Restless Shore and battle for the fort, because it's going to give you a 5% buff on every reward from the Corrupted Breach. So, you know, go over there and do some PvP and get that going. All right, Bordy. So tell us about solo breaches and starting with the Corrupted Monolith.
Yeah, man. So there's a few different types of breaches in New World, and I'm sure some of you kind of encountered these in the preview event. These will be some of the ones that you're going to encounter during the beta and after launch. So first is the Corrupted Monolith. So the main objective in completing the Corrupted Monolith breach is to break the carapace at the base of the monolith and then close the Azoth Staff objective. So you're just going to go up to that little ball and press E, and then it's going to close the portal there. So there's going to be several corrupted mobs that spawn throughout the breach that's going to try to prevent you from closing that carapace. So once you clear the mobs and you close the objective, then you finish the Corrupted Monolith. So this one is pretty straightforward, man. You just go kill the mobs, and then you close the carapace, and you're good. So you just fight them off, use the Azoth Staff, and you're good. It's very wide open. You can see the objective very clearly. So the next one is a Corrupted Portal. So the portals have multiple waves of corrupted creatures that spawn, and I think this one is probably a little bit more difficult than the one we talked about before, the Monolith. But it's pretty straightforward as well. You can see the point where you need to close it at. So it's going to have multiple waves, and after several added waves, there's going to be a final wave with the Corrupted Boss. And once you defeat the boss, then you can use the Azoth Staff to close the portal.
Yes, sir. So there's two more types. The first one is the Corrupted Tentacle, the bane of everyone's existence. This is my least favorite one, dude. I hate closing this one, man. There is a centralized Corrupted Tentacle at the middle of the breach. Rush in quickly before it starts attacking, which is impossible. Basically, it always gets you somehow. To deal a fatal blow to the tentacle, as it can deal massive amounts of damage, and that's no joke. I mean, these things tear you apart. Once the tentacle is dead, the range is insane. Once the tentacle is dead, you'll be able to close the objective, but there will be a few ad spawn waves there of these the crawling corrupted mobs. You'll just kill those off and close it, and you're done. And now the final one, and I think this one's probably the most fun in my opinion, is the Festering Hive. On the Festering Hive, you will find corrupted veils on each side that can be destroyed. Once destroyed, you can enter the hive where you will find a corrupted boss. You'll down the boss, and you'll be able to close the Azoth Staff objective in the middle of the inside of the hive. It is important to note, dude, if you stand too close to those veils when you break them, you're going to be flying backwards. So you you got to be real careful there. You know, try to stay away if you can. Obviously, melee people can't. There will be a group of ads that spawn after you kill the boss, but as you're trying to close the objective, I mean, if you just stop and kill the ads and the mobs, it's no problem. And then you go back to closing the objective, Bordy. So there we go, dude. Those are the 4 types of solo breaches. Obviously, you know, again, they have increased the difficulty level of these a little bit. All the mobs are now elite there. So these are premium activities, and they have reduced the spawn rate of these as well. That's important to note. They want it to feel more like, you know, they mentioned in the patch notes that they want you to feel like you are fighting back the corruption, and there's a purpose behind it. Like maybe they won't spawn for a little bit longer, so you know you get free roam of the wonderful lush environments of Aeternum without having to run across those corrupted breaches all the time. So they did mention that they did reduce the spawn rate of these as well to make it I mean, a little bit less rare, or a little bit more rare.
Yeah, there's supposed to be activities that you perform versus something you go grind for experience and gear and whatever. Yeah, it's supposed to be like an activity that you go do now. Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right, Bordy. So why don't you hop in there and tell us about the group corrupted breaches?
Yeah, so the group corrupted breaches, they're going to be very similar to the smaller variants. So the group corrupted portals, they're going to require you to slay several large waves of corrupted in order to eventually face the corrupted boss. You're going to have to group together, fight the waves of the corrupted, kill the boss, and use the Azoth Staff to close the objective there at the corrupted portal. So it's very similar to the other one. It's just there's a lot more mobs.
On steroids, basically.
Yeah. There's a lot more mobs. It's harder. So once you go do the solo breach, you will then have a good understanding of how to go do the group corrupted or the solo portal. You'll have a good understanding of how to do the group corrupted portal at that point. Just get you a group and go do it, man. They're hard. You're not going to be able to complete these solo unless you're going to do one, unless you're level 60 and going to do like a level 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, which wouldn't make much sense anyway. So the next one is the group corrupted monolith. So the group version of the corrupted monolith is one of the most difficult to close. So in this breach, there's going to be 3 corrupted pylons, each with their own Azoth Staff objective. So once each one is closed, a carapace will spawn in the middle of the monolith. So you have to break it, and the last Azoth Staff objective will appear. And throughout this process, large amounts of corrupted minions are going to spawn that's going to impede your progress. So the best way to complete this breach is to stay grouped, move in unison from pylon to pylon, and then once each is closed, move to the middle and fight the ad waves and the corrupted boss that spawns in it. And then once you kill the boss, then you're going to be able to close this breach. So this one is a little bit more difficult than the portal, probably, in terms of the corrupted breaches, but yeah, that's the only two group versions we have as of now, man.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, the monolith does require a little bit of coordination. You really do have to be careful and stay together, especially if you're doing ones at your level, because you get overwhelmed with ads pretty quickly in both of those group ones, but specifically the monolith. All right, Bordy. Well, that about does it for the corrupted breaches. Let us know in the comments below, you know, which one you're excited to run. It's gonna be cool how they hopefully can tie these into the future with like invasions and stuff like that, because you know it's meant to be like an ever looming threat. You know, constantly having to keep these at bay from the corrupted of taking over Aeternum. And I hope they find new and cool ways to kind of tie that into not only the lore of the game, but also the everyday gameplay in New World.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the subscription button, the notification bell for more New World content like this. Thank you to our patrons, who you will see at the end of the video. You guys are the best. We really appreciate your support. You make what we do possible. And we will see you in the next video.